Hey there, my fishing friends, your favorite angling expert here, and today we are diving deep into what promises to be a truly intriguing day on the water. Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. I've got some fascinating insights that might just change your plans for the day, so stick around. This isn't just any late October day, folks. With water temperatures steadily dropping and the air feeling crisp, we are right in the sweet spot for some serious fall action. There are whispers of a feeding frenzy, but also subtle cues that require a smart approach. We're going to uncover why this particular day could be a mixed bag of opportunities and challenges, and how to make the most of every cast. Today, my friends, is all about adapting and understanding the fall bite here in Canada. First up, let's talk about those magnificent steelhead, our migratory rainbow trout. October is their prime time, and by mid-month, we're seeing good numbers pushing into our southern and central Ontario rivers from the Great Lakes. Where to find them? Focus on river bends, deeper pools, and areas downstream of rapids where eggs might accumulate. They will be holding in those current seams, especially where there's cover like fallen trees or undercut banks waiting for an easy meal. What to use for these beauties? Light spinning gear or fly rods are your best bet. Try small egg patterns in oranges and yellows, or natural nymphs if you are fly fishing. For spinning, tiny marabou jigs or row bags drifted under a float will be deadly. Remember, they are feeding aggressively to prepare for colder waters, so a subtle, natural presentation is key. Next, let's turn our attention to the aggressive northern pike and walleye. As temperatures cool, these toothy predators are on the move. They will be transitioning from their deeper summer haunts to more accessible shallower bays and weed lines, especially where baitfish are congregating. G'day, fellow anglers, and welcome back to the channel. Your old mate is here, buzzing with excitement because we're diving deep into the fishing forecast for a truly special day. Tuesday, the 21st of October 2025. Now, I've got some juicy insights straight from the digital depths of the internet. And let me tell you, this day is shaping up to be quite intriguing for us keen fishers here in Australia. We've got some classic spring conditions setting in, with waters steadily warming and a new moon on the horizon, a combination that, in my experience, can really fire up the bite, but also keeps us on our toes. So grab a cuppa, settle in, and let's unravel what the 21st of October holds for your fishing adventures. You're going to learn not just where to cast, but why, making your next trip a whole lot more successful. Now let's talk tactics for some of our favorite local heroes. First up, the mighty flathead. With the water temperatures averaging around 19 degrees Celsius and generally warming up through October, these ambush predators will be actively feeding. I'd be focusing my efforts in the estuaries, especially around sandy drop-offs where the shallows meet the deeper channels. Look for those sun-warmed shallow flats, particularly where there's some weed growth or structure offering a bit of cover. My little trick for flathead on days like this is to use soft plastics. Think paddle tail shads or grub-style lures in natural baitfish colors, cast and slowly retrieved with a twitch or two to imitate a wounded baitfish. Also, live prawns or pilchards fished on a running sinker rig are deadly, especially at the change of tide. Next, let's turn our attention to the ever-popular chibream eend. These clever fighters will be on the prowl, especially with the new moon offering darker nights. Historical data for October indicates an average of 10 to 12 rainy days with around 73 to 76 millimeters of precipitation, so be prepared for a bit of a sprinkle. Wind speeds are expected to be light to moderate, around 14 kilometers per hour, which is about 9 miles per hour. How does this affect the fish? Well, the mild temperatures mean increased fish metabolism, so they're generally more active and feeding. However, a sharp drop in atmospheric pressure, especially with rain, can make them a bit finicky and send them deeper or closer to structure. Water temperature. This is a big one. The sea temperature in coastal areas like Sydney will be comfortably sitting at an average of 19 degrees Celsius, ranging between 18 and 20 degrees Celsius, 64 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. This steady warming trend from winter is absolutely crucial. It signals to many species that it's time to ramp up feeding and prepare for spawning. Active baitfish populations will be evident, and predators will follow. The moon phase. On the 21st of October 2025, we have a new moon. The illumination will be 0 to 1%. Now, many anglers swear by the new moon phase, believing it brings on a better bite. The reasoning often ties into the darker nights, allowing nocturnal feeders, and by extension their predators, to be more active under the cover of darkness. The stronger tidal movements associated with new and full moons can also stir up bait and encourage feeding, so it's a good sign, especially for those early morning or late afternoon sessions when the light is low. Overall fish activity. General activity will be leaning towards good. Spring is in full swing and fish are coming out of their winter sluggishness. You'll find many species moving into shallower, warmer waters to feed and bulk up. Estuarine fish like flathead and bream will be quite active, and coastal reef species like snapper will be venturing closer to shore or holding in more accessible depths. So, my friends, based on all these factors, the steady warming water, the active spring weather, and the new moon, giving the bite for the 21st of October 2025, a solid good to very good. You might encounter some finicky periods if the pressure drops sharply with those showers, so pack a variety of lures and be ready to adapt to your retrieve. Alright, that's my forecast for this exciting day. I wish you all tight lines and nippers in the net. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this helpful. Subscribe for more forecasts and let me know in the comments. What are your go-to spring baits and lures in your neck of the woods? I love hearing your stories. Until next time, stay safe out there. Tida. This species is definitely in spring mode around New Zealand. You'll find them active, particularly in the northern parts of the North Island, like the Hauraki Gulf and the Bay of Islands, and also down in Tasman Bay on the South Island. They're transitioning into their warmer water habits and are preparing for spawning once the water reaches its optimal temperature. Look for workups. That's where baitfish are being herded by predators, and it's a sure sign of snapper activity. On what to catch them? Soft baits, presented slowly on a light jig head, can be incredibly effective, or, for a classic approach, a stray line set up with fresh pilchard or squid will always get their attention. Inchiku-style slow jigs are also a secret weapon I've had great success with, and we can't forget the ever-reliable Walleye. These guys are widespread and are strong, aggressive fighters that are always fun on light gear. While October is considered a lower season for kahawai compared to peak summer, they are still very much catchable and will be schooling in large numbers. Hunt for them near river mouths, in estuaries, and along coastal seas. Keep an eye out for surface schools and diving birds. That's your clear indicator of a feeding frenzy. For tackle, casting soft baits or similar lures on light gear makes for exhilarating fun. Trolling skippy lures or metal jigs through schools can also be very productive. They also make fantastic live bait for bigger predators if you're feeling ambitious. Now let's break down the conditions for October 21st, 2025, based on typical spring patterns for New Zealand. The weather. We can expect mild spring days with cooler nights. In the North Island, daytime temperatures will likely range from 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, or 59 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. These strong fighters will be actively patrolling. My advice, focus your efforts on deeper channels during low tide where fish might concentrate, and don't forget shallower, rough ground where baitfish seek refuge. For shore anglers, fresh peeler crab or lugworm on a pulley rig is incredibly effective. If you're a lure angler, shallow diving crankbaits or even surface poppers can be deadly. And for our beloved brown trout, while the salmon and sea trout seasons are mostly closed, brown trout can still offer excellent sport. In October, with water temperatures dropping, they are actively feeding to build reserves. Look for them in deeper pools and runs in rivers, especially near underwater structures, submerged rocks, or overhanging banks that offer cover and ambush points. They'll be targeting smaller baitfish and insect larvae. For tactics, fly fishing with larger nymphs or streamers, imitating small baitfish, can be very productive. Spin fishermen can use small spinners or spoons, while float fishing with a worm can also yield results, especially in slower currents. Remember, presentation is key. A subtle approach often works best for these wary fish. Let's break down the conditions that are shaping this incredible forecast, friends. Starting with the weather for October 21st, 2025. The air temperature will be quite mild for autumn. We're expecting around 16 degrees Celsius in the morning, climbing to 17 degrees Celsius by noon, dropping to 14 degrees Celsius in the evening, and settling at 11 degrees Celsius overnight. This is a very comfortable range for late autumn fishing. Crucially, there's zero precipitation expected, meaning no rain to dampen our spirits or muddy the waters. The wind, coming predominantly from the west, will be moderate, with a maximum strength of around 4 Beaufort, averaging around 18 kilometers per hour. Therefore, my friends, based on these conditions, I'm giving our fishing forecast for Tuesday, October 21st, 2025, a solid good to very good rating, leaning towards excellent for predatory species. The combination of cooling water, stable atmospheric pressure, and the natural autumn feeding frenzy means fish will be actively seeking food. So there you have it, my friends, your comprehensive fishing forecast for Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. Get out there, enjoy the crisp autumn air, and may your lines be tight and your nets be full. Tight lines, everyone. If you found this forecast helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe for more angling insights, and tell me in the comments below, what are your go-to autumn baits or lures in Ireland, and what's your most memorable October catch? I love hearing your stories.